What's better today? I'm John Michael, and this is a field guide from the Apprentices, mostly reliable guide. Insiders get these linked directly from their journal right when they need them. You found it the long way round. That counts too. Read it. There is something in here for you. The rest is behind a door that is easier to open than you think. Now I'll hand over to Sherman Garfinkel.
FG003, The Four Challenges. Sherman turned to a fresh page in the notebook. Charlie watched him. The 4F sketch was still visible on the previous page, pencil lines loose and provisional. She had the odd sensation of having been shown a map of a country she had been living in for years without knowing it had borders. "How long does this take?" she asked. It was not quite the question she meant. What she meant was, how long before it stops feeling like this? Before the gap between who I am and who I could be stops feeling like an accusation? But she did not have the words for that yet, so she asked the practical version. Sherman did not treat it as a lesser question. 6 months, he said. 4 rounds. 42 days each. He wrote 4 titles down the left side of the new page, one beneath the other. Unstuck your potential. Unmask your identity. Unlock your performance. Uncover your purpose. Each round has a focus, he said. Each one builds on the last. You cannot do round 3 without having done round 2. Not because I say so, because the architecture requires it. You cannot build on a foundation that has not been laid. Charlie looked at the 4 titles. Something in her chest did the thing it had been doing since she first walked into the workshop. A small, involuntary recognition. Not excitement. Something quieter than that. Challenge 1, Sherman said, is unstuck your potential. This is where you are now. You are installing a new operating system, not upgrading the old one. Replacing it. The habits of thinking, the stories you've been believing, the default responses you reach for under pressure. You're not tweaking these. You are examining them and deciding for the first time deliberately which ones stay. He paused. This is the slowest round. It feels like the least dramatic. People sometimes want to skip to the purpose conversation, the calling, the vision. I understand that impulse. He looked at her briefly. But a tree that skips its root system does not get to stand in a storm. Challenge 2 is unmask your identity, he continued. You have spent years performing a version of yourself that the system found useful. Challenge 2 asks who you actually are when the performance stops. Not your role, not your output, not your value to the quarterly review. He wrote a single word beside unmask your identity on the page. Throne. Charlie looked at it. We will get there, Sherman said. Not evasively, like a man who knows the terrain and is choosing the right path through it. Challenge 3 is unlock your performance. By challenge 3, you know your formation, you know your identity, and you are ready to ask the right question about purpose. Not what do I want to do with my life? That is the wrong question. It produces the wrong answers. He tapped the 4F sketch on the previous page. Fire, favor field. What am I built for? Who am I built to serve? What does the fruit actually grow? You let that sit for a moment. Challenge 4 is uncover your purpose. This is not about monuments. It is not about being remembered. It is about what continues after you. The formation you have passed on, deliberately or by default, to the people in your field, your family, your team, your community. The question Challenge 4 asks is, what are you actually building, and is it worth building? He set the pencil down. Charlie looked at the 4 titles again. Unstuck, unmask, unlock, uncover. 42 days each. 6 months. She was 3 days into Challenge 1, and she had not yet managed to protect 12 minutes in the morning. It sounds like a long time, she said. It is, Sherman said. It is also the rest of your life. 6 months is the beginning of the beginning. He picked up his mug. Each round has a companion. A story published chapter by chapter. Same characters, same world. The story and the journal run alongside each other. You will find, if you pay attention, that they're saying the same thing in different languages. Like this, Charlie said. She meant the workshop, the sketch, the tea. Sherman smiled. Exactly like this. Bruiser stood up, stretched with the full commitment of a creature who does nothing by halves, and walked to the door. He looked back once, apparently confirming that the important business of the session had been concluded and lay down in the patch of morning light just outside the threshold. Charlie looked at the notebook. For titles, 168 days. One operating system, deliberately chosen, installed over time. She thought about the 12 minutes she had been meaning to protect for 2 years. She thought, start there. If you only remember one thing from this, the 6 months is not the program. It is the beginning of a permanent shift in how you operate. Challenge 1 does not produce the result. Challenge 1 makes the result possible. You're not being asked to complete a course. You are being asked to begin a formation.
The story ends here. Sherman has more to say. Charlie has further to go. The steps that follow this story are only available inside the Insider's Challenge. That is where the formation payload lives. The one habit, the trigger, the practice small enough to start today and significant enough to matter in 6 years. You have just read the diagnosis. The prescription is inside. Are you ready? 6 months? 4 rounds? One question asked every day. Join the Insider's Challenge at What's Better Today Challenge. Or if you are not ready yet, that is fine too. Sherman is not going anywhere. Neither is the workshop. Neither is the gap in the fence. Come back when you are ready.